everybody, this is the #1 potato bus from MogPod Gaming, coming at you for another Opus Set review, this time all about wind. Today here, I got next to me Jared.
Hi there.
And also Kevin.
Greetings.
And Chris right next to me here.
Hello.
So, Kevin, why don't you tell us about our rating system?
Okay, so our rating system is divided into two parts. First, we have the power rating out of 5, which is in an average situation of the power level of the card, with most of the assumptions stated on the card fulfilled, such as having a target. And then we add on 0, 1, or 2 for the synergy, so how good a card is when you can fully maximize its potential in a deck that supports it.
Yeah, so without further ado, let's just get straight into the first card. The first card is a card I backed, but got betrayed. is a 2-cost wind monster, Ahriman. So pay 1 wind, put Ahriman to the break zone, choose 1 monster of cost 5 or more, which there are none, and you can break it. And pay 1 wind, put Ahriman to the break zone, choose 1 forward of cost 5 or more, and break it. So let me just come out and say that when I saw this card, I was like, this is like a cheaper Alexander. Like now you can play this Ahriman and you can cheaply get rid of 5-cost forwards like Emperor Zande, like Steiner, and you wouldn't feel bad about it. Yeah, and now you've got like the extra.
Not backups, monsters.
Yeah, and you've got the extra utility of monsters, and I was like this card is gonna be played, and then there's no monsters, and it's like
Yeah.
Well, yet.
yeah.
We've ranked this one fairly low, given the
now.
current environment.
Yeah.
But come Opus 5, 6, 7, maybe we end up with some really scary 5-cost or higher
I think
monsters.
we will. I think
yeah,
we will.
that's what this card
It's
is
almost
telling us.
definitely it's
Right,
gonna.
like-
I hope they just never make it.
Oh no, please no.
So what was our ranking?
Okay, so just before we get into that, also the 5-cost, killing 5-cost or more forwards, a lot of the ones, especially the new ones released, have ETB abilities that are very valuable, or have on-death triggers that are very valuable. So even those 5 costs that you kill with Ahriman, it's not going to be very worth it. So we just gave it a 1.
All right.
So Chris, do you want to tell us the next card?
Oh God, why me? Okay, so
I have the
no,
impossible to
okay.
pronounce Final Fantasy
Yeah,
14 game.
Okay, so this is Arun Senna. I think I did a good job.
Yeah, well, this is
Yeah.
the easy one.
So yeah. My screen was a bit weird. I thought it was a bit different. So when Arun Senna enters the field, it's a 4-drop backup. When Arun Senna enters the field, you may search for 1 card name. I still have to pronounce them anyway. So for 1 card name Candy Senna or card name Raya O Senna and add it to your hand.
Good job, Chris.
Thank you. So it's a searcher.
It's a
We
searcher.
give that generic searcher rating.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it can search a backup. Raya is a backup.
And we'll talk more about it when we come to Candy Senna.
Yeah.
Yeah?
So for now, it's just a 3+0 generic
Yeah.
searcher.
Next card, Kevin, do you want to tell us about it?
Okay, so this is the 5-cost Alexander EX, and it says choose 1 forward of power 9,000 or more and break it.
Yeah, it's a 7.
It's a summon. It's a very overcosted summon. I feel.
Yeah, it's a little expensive.
It does EX burst.
It does
burst.
EX burst, which
I
is
think maybe that's where its relevant parts is there.
that may be where it's relevant.
Yeah.
But if you're only relying on his EX, just put Odin in your deck.
Yeah.
But what if you're not running lightning?
Yeah, but if you're only relying on the EX,
EX.
then just put Odin in your deck.
Yeah.
Especially because if it's 9,000 or more, you can just play the 4-cost. If it's a 5-cost or more, you can just play the 4-cost Alexander. And if it's less than that, it's even more inefficient to use this 5-cost Alexander to kill something less than 5.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But we don't expect this to see much play. This is probably the dud hero of this.
Wait, that's a hero?
It's a hero.
That's a hero.
Oh,
It's
God.
a hero. Yeah, so it's probably the dud hero of this.
Yeah. I like
Opus.
how it themes into wind though, because wind is like
The
how
big
it removes.
cost.
Yeah, how it removes things. Is it does lots of little damages?
Yeah.
And then I just thought, oh, this is just way too much power for you to do lots of little damages too. So it doesn't kill it.
One use of it is like after they've invested maybe some battle tricks into their forward already, then you can remove it with Alexander. But even then, I feel
They're usually investing battle tricks because you've already spent resources
yeah.
to.
So that's why I feel.
Yep. So
This part 1+0.
Yep.
Yeah, let's move on. To the better Alexander!
Yay,
Yay! Jared, do you want to start this off?
So it is a 2-cost EX bursting Alexander, and it reads: select one of the two following actions. Choose one monster, break it, or choose one backup you control, activate it, draw one card.
We had a podcast talking about
Hope, and
mostly, but
and this as well.
yes, and this Alexander. A lot of the cards, a lot of the points we talked about still apply here. And now that we've seen the whole set, and there are monsters that are worth killing now.
Mhm.
Yeah. And like, you know, with the we were just talking about the Iron Man with the 5 cost or more. This Alexander can kill those monsters anyway.
Yep. Exactly.
So it's like, but other relevant targets is the Magic Pot,
Yes.
Behemoth, and those.
Malboro.
Most monsters that don't break themselves for their effects.
Yeah.
Or that even the ones that you have to turn into
Forwards.
bomb, you
Yeah.
have to turn into a forward and then break it.
Yeah.
Mm.
So you can respond to the one.
Yeah.
To turn it into a forward by Alexandering it.
Mm.
So it's really efficient against those cards because the opponent sinks resources into it first.
And also, we even in the podcast, we talked about how good it can be to activate your backup and unsuspectingly use the backup on your opponent.
Yeah.
Backups with effects.
Yeah, you can have a perfectly efficient turn and have an Alexander to activate the one backup you need to counter what they do.
Its cost in that situation is only one card. So
Yeah.
And it can
Well,
be
one
searched.
CP because it draws your card if it activates a backup.
it's also important to note it can be searched by the New Hope.
So what score did we give it?
We gave it a 4+0.
Very strong card.
Pretty much always going to be considered in win
Win.
decks.
Yeah,
even,
definitely.
Even
yeah.
without hope.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because it needs monster removal. Okay, next card is a 2-cost forward of 5,000 power. When your opponent casts a summon, activate all the forwards you control. So Chris, how do you feel about this?
Okay. So yeah, this card exists so that people feel safe against me.
Wow.
So yeah, obviously it completely counters Zalora,
And the new Opus IV Shiva.
the new Shiva. Yep, but you can. So the Opus 3 Shiva, for example, will still get the dull effect off because this trigger resolves before the summon resolves. So you can still let your new Opus 4 Shiva do damage by putting the Opus 3 Shiva on top of it once you let the first instance of Ezel's ability resolve.
It'll just activate any other forwards that you're.
And then the Shiva that you just played is also more powered up now. It's a hate card, right? I don't think you're putting this in a deck to benefit from activating your forwards more because they're playing summons, because they just won't play summons when it's good for you. So it's a hate card. What did we end up giving it?
We gave it our generic hate rating 3+0. Yep.
Sounds good to me.
Sounds right.
Okay, so next card, Krevin, do you want to tell us about it?
Okay, so this is the legendary Onion Knight. It's a 4-cost 7k. When Onion Knight enters the field or attacks, choose one forward, deal it 3,000 damage. When Onion Knight enters the field, choose one card name Onion Knight of any element except wind in your break zone, add it to your hand. And it has an S, job change ninja, which is just S. And it says, place Onion Knight at the bottom of your deck. If you do, search for one card name Onion Knight with job Sage and play it onto the field.
So it's a very good card. It has huge combo potential, but you do have to have a certain number of Onion Knights and types of Onion Knights in your deck for it to be reliably to use its abilities, yeah?
And it's all a self-contained combo. Everything is pretty much just in this card.
Yeah, it's all built in.
Yep.
And you can use the S ability on the same
card,
turn.
yeah, the card you just drew.
Yeah.
Got from your break zone for playing him.
You can use it straight away. How much does the Sage Onion Knight do? I can never remember.
5,000 to
5,000.
5,000.
damage
So that's
forward.
if you wanted, you could just
Kill a force.
straight away kill a
Yeah, this is
Yeah.
where the comparison to Alcid comes in,
Yeah.
which I mentioned on the podcast where we talked about this card as well. When you end up comparing the two, you've got Alcid, you need 2 specific cards in your hand, and you end up with 2 6k power forwards, and you've done 11k to something. And this Onion Knight, you don't need 2 specific cards in your hand, because you can have one in the break zone instead, because it brings it back. And if you S it straight away, then you're spending 4 CP total still, just like Alcid, but you're only spending 1 card from your hand. You're left with 1 6k forward, and you did 8k to a forward.
Which is usually enough to kill something.
Yeah, so it trades the better board state at the end of an Alcid and slightly less damage for just how easy it is to do.
Yeah.
That's right.
So
And this is also an Onion Knight you want to play with the light one, because then you can just discard the light one for the effect.
yep, the first Onion Knight I'm happy to play the light one with, because the problem with the light one with the other Onion Knights is that once you use its effect, if you're putting in another Onion Knight than the light one just gets stranded in your hand. Because now there's an Onion Knight in place, he can't play the light one,
But
and
now
you
you
can't
can
discard
miss
it.
it. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
now
So
with
you
this
can get some
Yep.
early damage with the light Onion Knight, and
And then use
play
it.
this. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then and you can discard the lightning knight, and now you've got another lightning onion knight in your hand, I guess.
Whatever one you get back from the race.
Yeah.
But so yeah, we talked about it on the podcast. There's a lot of combo potential.
One weakness though is that if you, because the colon is just after the S, if you remove it in response to the special, none of that will happen. You can't search your deck for
Luckily, the S is very cheap.
Yes. Maybe you can counter respond by S-ing again.
Altogether possible.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I'm excited about the kind of combos that this can open up, and it obviously fits right in the lightning wind deck. But it doesn't have to be put in that type of deck.
Yeah, you can just play a mono wind with the Onion Knight, Sage Onion Knights in your deck.
Which I think I'm gonna do. I'm already set on doing that. But so what's the score that we gave it?
We just gave it a 4+0.
Yeah, no, it's very
Strong legendary.
It's the next card, Jared.
Can you say it?
Revenge.
Yeah.
I can say this one. It's Kan-E Senna. If you control card name Raya Osena, Kan-E Senna gains plus 2,000 power. When Kan-E Senna enters the field, if you control card name Arun damn it, Arun Senna, activate all backups you control, and she's 7k at a base. 5 cost 7k at a base.
So if you have the conditions fulfilled, she is like the hero bots from Opus 1, activating all backups, and is a 5 cost 9k, but
And
does not EX.
it does not EX and can't be targeted by.
Yes, that's Raya Osena's ability.
Yeah.
Arun and Kani cannot be targeted by abilities.
Very strong.
Very strong when it goes off. Yeah, just a free 9k.
You need to have all the moving parts, but one of them finds the other two.
Yeah.
And this is a big payoff card.
I think it will be seen in the updated water wind list.
It is a big investment, and those decks are already quite tight on backups, but I can see it happening.
What backups might they choose to lose? Like they'd keep their Yuno
They'd have to keep Riku then.
and Riku, Yuno and Riku, and then you can have
these two.
So
you'd
you've
have
got
to
one
have
spot left.
You would have to have
again.
for the water backup.
Maybe Minwoo, right?
Probably Minwoo.
Okay, so
So-
the other ones would all break themselves. So maybe you could put in like the new Moogle.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just to smooth it out.
Yeah.
I think that'd be fine.
Yeah, and also a thing with mono wind decks is you kind of want to play both parts, because you want to activate all your wind backups and like play your things for free. But then once you have a lot of guys on the board, you want that giant 9k first strike haste brave
Double attacker. Yeah.
So what this allows you to do is have that effect, but still be able to play a card name Bards.
Have it not be called.
Yeah, have it not be
The other
called
thing
Bards.
is, you don't need both of its components in your backup line. Like when you play it, the only relevant one is Arun Senna, and then you can just later on incidentally get plus 2,000 power from Raya Senna.
Just checking.
Fair
Which one?
enough.
Arun is the one
The-
we've already
the
spoken
searcher.
about, right? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so you search for this and play it. Poof.
Yeah.
Like,
And
maybe
then-
not the
no,
same turn.
but the Ryo Center is the thing that keeps them.
Keep it
Yeah,
keeps it alive.
yeah,
Yeah.
but
You're
you're
fine
playing
with
this for
this
free
dying.
anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Fair
think you're
enough.
fine with this dying because you can just play it again.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
And so this sets up really, really explosive turns for wind. And in lots of wind decks, the opportunity cost isn't so big because wind has already a lot of backups that break themselves for pretty cheap and have good effects that you want. And it even got a few more this Opus. So even with 2 unbreakable backups in your backup line, I think you'll still have enough flexibility in the rest of your backup slots for this to be pretty good and not limit your options too much in maybe a mono wind deck.
So next up is the 2-cost backup archer. When Archer enters the field, deal 1,000 damage to all the forward opponent controls. Pay 1 wind and dull. Put Archer into the break zone. Deal 2,000 damage to all the forward opponent controls.
Speaking of good wind backups that break themselves,
This one is definitely up there.
this,
We talked about this in our little spoiler spotlights. Yeah, we're comparing it to the Geomancer in Opus 3.
Yeah.
Except it's better.
Yeah, that little 1k difference on ETB usually doesn't make a difference.
Not
yeah.
And
full wind.
then-
You can generally just trade up maybe.
And then the being able to break, because it'd be so nice if Geomancer just said dull, put Geomancer into the break zone.
Yeah,
That's
would
it,
be-
like,
that would make the card a lot better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like, or even like 1 wind dull, put Geomancer into the break zone. That'd be so
Really?
nice. But so actually being able to do that and still get this other effect, it's real nice.
Yeah, you get two instances of it. So
Yeah.
yeah.
And this gives you more flexibility in your backup line to
That's
play
right.
cards like Canny Sinner, which are backup intensive.
And it's like board wide, so you can even combo this with Barrett.
Yeah, this synergizes with lots of other ping effects. Yeah.
Well, I was thinking Barbaricha, but yeah,
Barbaricha,
Barrett works.
yeah.
Barbaricha, yeah.
You can get it twice for that, yeah.
Or
Yeah.
Wumba from
Mm.
Opus 2 in Ice.
And
Yeah.
just
Barrett works as well.
doing 1,000 damage is all you need for something to count as a damage forward.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's true.
There's quite a few cards that care
Care
about
about
that.
those, yeah, like
Um,
Geo Penance, Orlando.
Orlando, yeah.
Yep, trial.
So what score did we give to it?
So we gave it a 3+1.
Fair enough. Chris, you want to tell us the next card?
Yeah, so this is why do you keep giving these cards to me? so this is Cobble. No, that's not too bad. It's a Cobble Droid Yin.
It's Final Fantasy 13. You love those.
I know,
cards.
So it's a 1-drop monster from 13. It has wind until the end of the turn. Cobble Droid Yin also becomes a forward with 3,000 power, and Cobble Droid Yin cannot be blocked by forwards of cost 3 or more. You can only use this ability once per turn. Cobble Droid Yin.
He's like Yuffie from Opus 1, the
That's right,
common
yeah.
one.
But much more survivable.
Yeah, because
Yes,
it's not going to die to your opponent's their turn effects.
Yep.
And if you attack with it last, you can survive any AoE EXs that they might flip over the top.
Yep.
At the top.
I mean, it's might be actually considered in a lot of win decks, so that just want an early game thing to play that might sneak in a few points of damage. It's it's always on people's minds to put 2 costs forwards, not because 2 cost forwards are good, but because in case they verse against that unblockable deck, you know.
Shimmer's Eye with a bunch of 1 costs.
Yeah. But this is another consideration. Yeah.
Well, this guy is a 1 cost that can be played with Shemazai anyway.
Yeah. And the thing is, for this one, it puts pressure on your opponent to have those, but does not die while they don't have those. So with Yuffie, you can just remove it, right? And then you're pretty much safe. But Cobble Droid Yin is pretty resilient, being a monster, and they can just stay there until your opponent.
It's sort of like Zidane.
Yeah.
In this sense,
it's a little. That's what I'm thinking. Sort of. Yeah.
It's like more powerful resilience, but only half the time.
Yeah.
I mean, with Zidane, anyway, I mean, it's protected from those same things that Zidane was protected anyway. Right? Like the forwards entering the battlefield and killing him.
In normal situations, this card probably won't be too good because, again, it is an investment.
It is a card in your deck.
Yeah, it is a card in your deck and in your hand that you have to play.
Yeah.
And you have to keep paying for attacks, which is an inherent drawback to a forward type monster.
Especially in the decks that want to play these kinds of forwards, because they want to be playing multiple a turn, and if you've only got a few backups.
Just for reference, listeners, there's someone that we play against a lot who has a mono wind deck that's just filled with 1 or 2. His curved stops at 2 for forwards, and he plays Shemazai, and he plays Yuffie, loves the Yuffie, and Zidane and all these effects. And this is going to be insane in that deck.
Because he always has backups he hasn't used. Like,
exactly, that's the thing.
Yeah, turn 3 or 4.
Because he tops off at 2. He always has spare CP. So this is
It's
a
not
very
a
good
cost
use for
him
it.
to have to pay.
Yeah, exactly. So this will be fantastic for him. So for that, what did we give this?
We gave this 2+1. I think it's possible to amend that.
I think we
2+2.
I think 2+2. It'll be very powerful in those decks where you're maximizing it.
So the next card, Kevin, do you want to tell us about
The
it?
next card is Cactuar, a 1-cost monster from Theatrhythm. It reads Dull, choose 1 forward, deal it 1000 damage. Or Wind and 2 generic and Dull, put Cactuar into the break zone, choose 1 forward, deal it 10,000 damage, and Cactuar deals you 1 point of damage.
That doesn't seem fair. They're taking like 9,999 more damage than you.
Oh!
I really like this card.
Anyway, there's another.
Yeah. EX bursts of cards put into the damage zone due to this ability cannot be used. So it's unlike Busoya, you can't chain it with cards like Ephemeral Summoner and just.
So
EX
does
at the top.
so does it get minus energy for that?
I mean, you
At the end of the day,
don't
it still kills a thing.
Yeah.
I love the flavoriness of this one.
Mm.
It has 1,000 needles and 10,000 needles.
Yay!
Yep.
Oh, cactars. I'm looking forward for the inevitable jumbo cactar
Oh yes.
monster. That'll be something
Also-
that Ireland can kill.
Something we didn't mention
Yeah,
is
yeah.
it's a multi-card card, so
Mhm.
you can have 3 potentially and
Three
just stack
cactars,
your
yeah.
+1Ks, and then with all these other cards that are increasing the value of incremental small damages.
Yep.
Yeah.
You can have this and a backup line full of dancers and
Mhm.
several dancers in your forwards.
Yeah.
And then
And then you can have a massive Diablos as well.
yes.
Yeah.
You'll have
No,
a ton of characters.
I can honestly see this in a Lightning Wind deck where they care a lot about damage forwards.
Yeah, this is
Because you just play this monster and then every turn you have a damage forward you can interact with.
This is
Yeah.
incredibly
You know?
cheap and relatively resilient. Anything that kills this costs the same or more.
Yeah.
And it's just, you really do want to waste a monster removal on Cactuar, but it will be doing work for decks like Orlando. This will let you play it very efficiently because you
Exactly.
can
And
dull a monster and then use 5 backups to pay for it.
And
That's it.
even more, if you run out of those effects or you're just not drawing them, it does kill pretty much anything in the game.
Yeah.
It just costs you a point of damage.
Yep. So, what did we give it?
We gave it a 2+1.
I
I feel like this has been a common thing. We
Yeah.
talk about how good some card is and give it some terrible rating.
Yeah.
No, it's because we want to talk about how you guys can use these cards.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
like,
We can't kill the hype before the rating.
yeah, but you know, this is kind of like the meta point review where
Yeah.
it's not going to be used in a lot of meta decks.
Also, an overall point cost of 3 generally means it will see play in decks.
It will. Yes, that's correct.
It's
Also,
something you
you know,
start
this-
to consider.
This could be really annoying in like Morgan's deck with all the one
The
cost.
next one?
Yeah.
Oh no, Cactuar.
Cactuar, because you
Yeah.
can just kill like the one cost that can block all your Shimmerside things.
Yeah, he also plays a lot of dancers.
Yeah.
So-
And it was lacking in removal.
Yeah.
All one cost deck, maybe.
Yeah. Maybe Morgan's deck will be meta.
Yeah. That's when we all start playing Shadow Lord.
Yeah.
Oh god, yeah. Shadow Lord would destroy that.
Okay, next card is the 1-cost Thief. It's a forward with 3,000 power. When Thief leaves the field, your opponent puts the top card of his or her deck into the break zone.
I'm very happy this exists.
Yep.
Like,
And that leaves the field. It's
Yeah.
very, very important because it
And-
synergizes with the Valor Fall that the
Yeah.
decks generally want to play to stay alive and get those ATB mills back. But these happen on leaving the battlefield.
This is like we talked before, almost auto include in a mill deck.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
specific mill deck like
and
this.
that's been a pet deck of mine for a while. I'm glad we've got a lot of support for that this set.
But
Not
like,
just this, but like the Sid Highwind from the 4-cost Sid Highwind, even the 2-cost Sid Highwind, both benefit from Hecatonker existing as
Yeah.
well from in Earth. But now this as well.
it's
Maybe it comes together this set, or maybe I have to wait 3 or 4 more Opus to get like
enough mill support.
enough of it.
I'm still like I'm not as a fan of this as everyone else seems to be. Because
I'm not saying
Because,
it's a
like-
good card.
No,
I just like that
by
it's,
no means is it a
it's
good card.
more for that deck.
because yeah, like it's 3,000 power for one
it's on
with
card.
no like board impacting effect.
Yeah. It's a terrible card. It goes in one deck and one deck only.
But imagine if they have like 2 cards in their deck, and then this is like your only forward. And then they're like, I dare you to block this. But then like, if they
But if
block
they-
it, they're damned. If they let it go, they're damned.
So this the rating is a 1+2, but 2 is the maximum we can go, In a
Yeah.
mill deck, this will probably be +4 or something because
Yeah.
this is possibly the card that pushes those mill decks over the edge.
I-
We're not sure yet.
The only
Okay.
reason why we gave it a 1 is because it only gets included in those
Yeah.
mill decks.
In
Only.
every other situation, this card is terrible.
You know what's gonna really punish this?
What?
Sid Reigns.
Well,
what you
you're not going to attack with it. It's not going to be dull.
True, it's not gonna do anything.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, it's not gonna do anything.
And that's the point.
I still think it probably needs like 1 or 2 more cards,
Mm.
but it's getting there.
Yeah,
They've
Eventually.
just let them seep out opus by opus. I'm sure by like opus 6,
Yeah.
there might be a viable mill deck
Maybe,
for
maybe.
competitive.
And there was a few mill decks that was going on in the nationals.
Those were Earth Wind,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
You
Well,
know,
that's
it's-
how I
the
generally
thing is,
play
as
it,
soon
yeah.
as there's enough support for mill, there'll be anti-mill.
Yeah. There'll be a
So-
reshuffle
Thank
effect.
God.
basically.
Yeah. So I don't think it's.
Yeah. Mill is not a particularly fun
Which
deck
is
to
why
play
you've
against.
got to make it while it's
But-
while
yeah.
we're teetering on the edge of it being a thing.
There's no really mill hate yet,
Yeah.
except for maybe the 5-cost EX lightning. But
Even then.
even then, that just
Yeah.
stalls the inevitable.
I think the anti-mill we've got at the moment is your deck's just better.
That is a very good
or
example.
just
Yeah.
aggro. You know,
yeah,
go
just
like
kill them before even.
get to that point.
Yeah,
Anyways,
yeah.
so next card, Chris, do you wanna talk us through it?
Yeah. So our next card is Shara. It's this is what a 1-drop can do, right? So this is a 1-drop forward EX burst. The EX burst is when Shara enters the field, choose 1 forward opponent controls, deal it 3,000 damage. If you control card named Ritz, deal it 6,000 damage instead, and it itself is a 3,000 power forward.
This is what a 1-drop can do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think this is the ceiling of what a 1-drop can do.
Yeah,
I would say so.
6,000
No,
damage.
no. We didn't talk about Warrior last set review.
Warrior, I guess.
But
Hashtag-
this can kill that card.
Like, think we just talked about Onion Knight, right?
Yeah,
Which
yeah.
does 3k when it comes in or attacks.
That's
This
right.
is 3k when it comes into
Yeah,
attack.
there's a
Oh no,
3k when
what
it comes
comes
in.
in? Yeah,
Potentially 6k.
that's
Like,
right.
that's
Mhm.
very small investment to kill a thing, and you're still left with an Onion Knight and
It's-
like an incidental forward.
It's
Yep.
pretty strong. And Chris, don't you
Like-
always say that 6K is big?
No, I didn't say this is the world's.
The world's.
It's the world's commentators.
And there are a lot of very strong 5k forwards this Opus, and even with a element specific power buffer, they'll still only be 6k. So
Yeah.
this will kill a lot of them.
Yeah, this is normally not what Wind does as well. It's got an ETB on a thing that does a significant chunk of damage when you
Yeah.
synergize.
Mhm.
When it's not synergized, the 3k is still good because it's only 1 CP.
Yeah.
Like you're obviously gonna combo with some other damage
Mhm.
to kill the thing.
It's good for in those wind fire decks that people have been trying to put together.
Yeah.
Like the closest comparison that comes to mind is like the Opus 1 Cloud, the common cloud, right? This is already way more efficient than that card.
Yeah,
it costs less and deals more damage.
It's
Yeah.
also a fantastic forward to party with because like it dies well.
Oh, you can just play
and,
another one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and also if we're talking about partying and wind, we can talk about chocobos. So-
Oh yeah.
So it's an excellent chocobo friend
It is.
Yeah.
for that reason.
Because you don't mind if it or Chocobo dies.
Yeah.
And another 1-drop. Like we quite a few 1-drops this set for the
Quite a few.
Shemazais.
They've already got enough,
Mm.
though. They got even more.
And,
These
Yeah,
ones are
this can
generally
help
better.
kill
Yeah.
the things that can block your
Yeah.
things
Yeah.
once you've Shemazite.
and Ritz is probably going to see play anyway, so this card
Mhm.
is a definite consideration for a lot of
Yeah,
wind decks.
it's gravy
Yeah.
with Ritz.
What was the score, Kevin?
We gave it a 3+1.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Sounds about right.
Won't always have the text space for such a small effect, no matter
Yep.
how efficient it is.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Next card, Kevin, you want to talk us through?
Okay, so this is Sylph. No, I'm joking. It's a 2-cost White Mage backup. It reads 1 dull, put White Mage into the break zone, choose 1 forward, activate it. It gains 1000 power until the end of the turn.
So yeah, itself.
Except the power boost is not AoE,
Yeah.
but
And it costs 2.
yeah, but it's Sylph. It's
Yeah,
very
it-
good.
You get to
Um,
preload this Sylph.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we were talking about how backups to that get rid of themselves. This is a backup that gets rid of itself.
I mean, it
and-
costs 2 when you use it.
Yeah,
Alright.
and this is an effect you definitely want in your deck. Activating and power boosting. It's-
Yeah.
But would you play this over like Oracle?
Ooh, that's a good question. You
It's-
can decide that with the rest of your
Sure,
backup
okay.
slots.
Yeah, that's the
Mm.
opportunity cost, I guess you can say.
Mm.
See it as yet another card you can load
Yeah.
into your backup line for Onion Knight combo
Mm.
kills.
Yeah, yeah,
Like,
that's definitely
you've
possible.
got this.
Yeah, like they're getting a lot
Oracle.
now.
Yeah.
So
How many are there? There's this Oracle no just in wind,
Mm.
right? And then if you're adding in water, you've got
Mm.
Astrologian.
Yeah, I think you play the other no with the Opus 4 no with Onion Knight, so you get more resources to activate your Onion Knight with.
Perhaps, yeah.
yeah.
Mm.
Yep. So yeah, it just being another thing that activates things makes it
Mm.
quite nice.
What's the score?
It is 3+0.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, the Onion Knight combo not really enough to push it to +1.
Yeah.
So, Jared, do you want to tell us the next card?
The next card is a Chocobo. It's a 3-cost multi-card. It's a 6k forward. It reads, when Chocobo forms a party and attacks, Chocobo and all forwards forming a party with it gain plus 3,000 power until the end of turn.
Oh, do the other Chocobos say all forwards?
Yeah, they do.
Yes,
They
yeah,
do.
they do.
They do. Yeah. So it's a chocobo. That's
It's-
pretty much it.
This is just the 3-cost one from Opus 1, but
Without
its
the haste.
base is bigger and its buff is smaller, right?
I
No,
think
it
it's the buff.
It doesn't have haste.
The buff is the
It-
same,
Yeah, the
Oh,
buff
is
is
it
the
the
same.
same?
but the haste is gone.
Yeah. So
So it traded a 2k power for
Mm,
for no haste.
yeah.
yeah. And honestly, if you're partying with a 6k forward that becomes a 9k, there's no real point to partying with that. I feel.
I mean, what if you're
So-
playing with like
That's
Supernova?
what your Ritz is for,
Yeah,
right? Like
yeah, I
you've still
guess.
got a use for this leftover
Yeah.
one drop
you,
now.
Your Shara.
Yeah,
sorry,
you're sure.
sorry, your
Yeah.
Shara,
Mm.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then in that instance, they're more likely to kill the. They're more likely to be able to kill the Shara than the Chocobo.
Yeah, I
Which
guess.
you want to have that you want the Chocobo to be the card that sticks.
Yeah, this Chocobo will stick quite often because 9k.
Maybe with this chocobo in the next few ones, maybe we'll get a chocobo deck.
Possible.
We'll see.
We'll see. Probably not.
One can only hope.
Why did we give
Especially since we rated this a 2.
yeah. Yeah.
Oh no, yeah, but like it's still in a chocobo deck.
Okay. Sure.
Shall we move on to the next card?
Yeah.
Yeah, the next card. What's this one called?
So this is called chocobo.
Oh.
Yeah,
How
it's
about that?
it's a 3-cost 6,000 power forward. I actually really love the arts. I give credit to the Square Enix for making original arts. And also the ability is really cool as well. When Chocobo enters the field, choose one forward other than Chocobo. It gains haste until the end of the turn.
It's like they split up the Opus 1
Yeah.
into
Yeah.
the haste part and the party part.
But
Yeah.
like that's good. When this becomes relevant is when you're spending a lot of CP because you have to play it forward and then play this as
That's
well.
the big back,
Yeah.
the drawback.
Yeah,
on it.
yeah.
Is that the turns when haste is relevant is when you've spent lots of CP unless you're playing no devout.
Yeah.
So
Because you
Oh,
want
man.
to haste something you just played that turn.
Would
Yeah,
you
that
devout this
instance.
card, Chris?
no, I devout something else.
Like
Ah.
a
And
Okay.
play
Genesis,
this card
Ah,
I guess,
okay.
right?
to haste it.
Or
Yeah.
a Genesis or a Kuja, and then you play this,
And they
then
haste it and then
Yeah.
bam.
Could
That's
be-
actually- maybe it might be a cool little
Like a-
ice wind deck.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
make
can
like
see
an
that.
Ice Wind Chocobo deck. I've done it
Yeah.
before with like
Yeah.
Shell Kazana.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
really
yeah.
nice.
Yeah.
Ice Wind is very aggressive, which
It's-
is possibly better than the red range for Ice Lightning if you want to go aggressive.
Actually, thinking about Izana, right? Like before you could like use Izana to go find the hasty Chocobo and play it and then attack with it.
Now
I
you can
think-
haste Izana and
Yeah,
attack with Izana.
Because you'd rather Izana die anyway, because
Because
then
you
you
can
can
play
play another
another
one and
one,
another Chocobo. So yeah.
I think overall I still prefer the haste Chocobo, the one that
Mm.
has haste built into it.
Yeah.
But we're going through the considerations of what you can do
Yeah.
with this one.
Yeah.
Why did we give this one?
We gave it a 2+1. It obviously has more synergies than the previous one.
Yeah.
What's the next card, Chris?
So the next card isn't called Chocobo. It's Fat Chocobo.
Oh, good.
Yeah. So it costs 5, and it's a backup, and it has the job Chocobo as well.
Very relevant.
So when Fat Chocobo enters the field, you may search for one job Chocobo or card name Chocobo of cost 3 or less and play it onto the field. It has dull, choose one job Chocobo or card name Chocobo. It gains plus 2,000 power until the end of the turn, and so now we have a Chocobo package.
Yep.
Chocobos.
Yeah.
The forward that searches the backup when
Yeah.
he gets a forward.
Yeah.
Yep, the Chocobo package.
See,
Yeah.
it can happen, guys.
Okay.
Just
Izana
believe.
can find Fat Chocobo?
Yes,
Yeah.
Izana
Yeah.
says
Cool.
job a
Okay.
Chocobo.
Yeah, that's neat. I mean, he looks so content, that Chocobo, doesn't he?
Well, he's
Yeah.
just found a chocobo.
He's just very fat.
No,
He's-
he's,
You bring me more
It
Giselle
looks like he's dreaming his name.
Oh yeah, there are the little bubbles.
Yeah.
What shall I be called? Yes, fat Chocobo.
He's probably thinking delicious fat chocobo.
Oh wow.
Kentucky Fried Chocobo. Get it while it's hot.
Oh, I mean, this is FC. It's initials.
yeah. But let's just
Kentucky fat chocobo.
let's just talk about the value built into this card. So you pay 5 to get a 3-cost forward onto the field, which is not from your hand, so that's not an extra potential CP. So
Yeah.
like if there was ever an ability where you pay 5 and you can play a 3-cost forward from your deck to the field, that's amazing.
Yeah,
Which is
I
what
mean,
which is what this is, and you get a backup.
If
you know?
if you compare it to searches, there's searches a 3-cost and gets it, and just for 2 CP you can play the 3-cost, so it's one bit of it.
Say you wanted to give something you had haste. It's the same as playing Izana and then playing the Chocobo we just spoke about, right?
Mhm.
Just
It's
playing
better
that
than that.
Chocobo. Yeah, no, that's what I mean. Like it's
Game 6.
comparable but better.
Yeah.
Did you say it was edible?
Yeah, I feel like a fat chocobo right now.
Well, we haven't had lunch yet, have we? So,
No.
It's also quite good with the haste Chocobo because it can just give it plus 2k, and the new Chocobo that gives things haste.
Yeah.
The previous one.
Yeah.
Because then it's an 8k attacker.
And how relevant do you guys think is the 2K power?
I think it's only relevant on that Chocobo that I just mentioned.
well, it pushes Chocobo, like both of the Chocobos in this set are base 6k.
That's right. Yeah.
So that pushes them up
it
like slightly above the
I've
curve.
just thought it covers a weakness because of chocobos where they chocobos' weakness is when chocobos start getting removed and then they're just left with like a chocobo
Yeah.
and things. So this can then turn it into a powerful attacker. So it not only is a searcher and a player for chocobos, but it also synergizes by covering a weakness of chocobos.
Yeah.
Mm.
So what
Maybe.
score do we give it?
We gave it a 3+1.
Cool.
Yep.
Alright, let's move on.
Fair enough. What's the card, Kevin?
So this is a 2-cost 5k forward called Donate from Tactics Advance, and it reads: dull, choose one monster, dull it or activate it.
It's
So-
a 5k.
It's it's a 5K forward. It's a little difficult to evaluate this card so early.
Yeah, there are it's
You
it's
know.
it looks like a card. It's a card that can be both proactive and reactive, which is interesting because I mean, like proactive uses for it are you can activate your magic pot the turn that you
Play it.
You play it. You can reactivate your monster forwards so they can defend.
Or your ghouls or your flans.
Or your
Yeah.
ghouls or your flans. Reactive, I mean, you can if somebody's playing a behemoth, you can use it to double it when they turn into a forward.
Yeah, essentially
So-
kind of dull and freeze it.
Yeah, it's weird. I think we'll have to wait and see with this card. But
Yeah, it also counts. Yeah, like you said, mostly just monster forwards, and we don't know exactly how relevant those will be, or is it just going to be the goblins and the Uomans that are going to be played? You know?
yeah,
We'll have to see how the meta
Mm.
turns out.
Yeah. So it's pretty meta dependent. So what score do we give it?
For now, we gave it a 2+1 because
Yeah.
if it has synergies, it will be those with Magic Pot and things that maybe Cactua just to deal 1k extra damage.
yeah.
What's the next card,
This
Jared?
card.
Except one of the. This is a terrifying card.
Yeah.
It's a 3-drop backup called No, and it reads: when a forward you control attacks, choose one backup you control and activate it. It's also a Moogle.
Yes,
This card's ridiculous.
this card
This
is
card
very ridiculous.
is just utter bananas. Like
Obviously, with Zemus,
Yeah.
your whole board
your
becomes
whole
unblockable.
board is unblockable.
Yep.
Yep, and even with that out of the way,
Yep.
still a really good card.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Every
Like,
attack
yeah.
gives you a CP of resources.
Yeah. Like, I played Edge, the little Edge, that when he does damage to your opponent, you activate all your backups, just because that is an insane effect. I ended up taking him out just because he died
Yeah.
for free too much. This is on a backup, so it's not often going to die. And sure, you don't get to activate all your things for getting one through connected, but you could just like party attack and like activate like.
Do you get 2
Or-
activations on a party or 1?
A 4D control
There's
attack
2
twice.
forwards attacking. Yeah, it will see them both attack.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
2 activation.
Also, like with the chocobos we were just talking about, the fat chocobo buffing things. Like, I mean, the thing is.
Oh wait,
like,
yeah,
the-
that's amazing.
Yeah.
This is also good with things like Dancer. If you have the 3-cost Dancer, you can make all your guys trade up by 2k essentially, because you can use this effect, attack with something,
And
activate it.
There are already things like the 1-cost Varn. This is when he attacks, you activate 2 things. Or activate one thing twice.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
Oh,
So it's like,
man.
I love how we've got
activate
like.
2 other things as well.
Yep.
So we've got like with no though, there's the Uber combo with Zemus
Yeah.
to like
Yeah.
just make your board unblockable,
Yeah.
and then that's like super amazing. Below
No,
that
bad.
we've got just like all these things that have dull effects on your
Yeah.
backups. It's amazing with that. And then below that we've got no special synergy with your backups or anything. It's still amazing.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
like, it's still just giving you more resources.
I'm
Yeah.
happy that it costs 3, so it's awkward to play and vulnerable to both of the
Hecatomb,
non-Sephiroth.
yeah.
Hecaton,
Backups
Pan,
That's-
Archer.
I'm not sure if you guys noticed, but this is a design choice, so to say. All the best backups are 3 costs.
Yeah.
That's not
because-
true. Devout costs 4.
Also, a very, very important design choice is that this is called a no-no.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
That's actually very, very important.
And also a very important art choice is that the bubble on head looks like it's gonna kill him if it drops.
Pom-pom, yeah.
Yeah. No, but the thing I wanted to point out with this is that when you play this card on the field, you're gonna play your turns out a little differently.
Yeah.
Yeah. So with this, no, you're gonna have to like, instead of just going your turn, going straight to battle phase and attacking, you're gonna have to play something so you can make use of those backups that you were dulling, which actually might make you more vulnerable to EX burst. So that's like a unforeseen downside of it.
But the potential upside
Is very good. No, but I just want to point that out to
Yeah,
people
yeah.
that it's
Yeah,
it's gonna change how you're gonna play. the
And
game.
imagine that situation I mentioned before when talking about Kamisena, when you play a bunch of things and Bards, and then Bard says haste, so you can attack twice, activate 2
Yeah,
backups,
yeah,
and play even more things.
Yeah,
it's-
it's so wow.
Yeah, it's up for like there's so many combos. It's like MogPod that we can't think of them all right now.
Yeah.
So what's the score that we gave it?
We gave it a 4+2. It is the
Yeah.
6 of wind.
Yeah.
Even though it's a very strong effect with no special synergies, it's just going to be resources, so it's not going to be amazingly powerful. So that's why it's a 4 for power. But once it's powerful, it's very
Very,
powerful.
It doesn't take much to make it
Yeah, yeah.
like bonkers.
Yeah. It doesn't take much to get it to 5 or to 6.
Yeah.
Mm.
I think it's just Zemus that makes it 6.
Yeah,
That comes
yeah.
out the opportunity cost of it being a light of that card.
Yeah.
But 5, like, is still amazing.
The next card is a 2-cost backup, Geomancer. When Geomancer enters the field, choose 1 wind character other than Geomancer you control, activate it.
Really good mono wind card, I think.
Yeah.
Well, there are those mono wind decks that they up until now have been playing the Opus 1 2-cost Aerith to just explode as many backups as they can out onto the field on the first turn, and this is another one of those, and it's even more versatile because you can reactivate
What?
your.
Why does it have one of those cartoon weights on its ponytail? Like
I-
the giant, like 10-ton things that just come and drop down and flatten the character.
It's probably a posture correcting thing.
It's a very, very powerful
Maybe
character.
Refia slouches.
Well, you just wait
No,
until.
isn't this Arc?
Is that? Oh, that's Arc.
Is
Yeah.
that Arc? Okay. Wait until the weight drops and then it goes superpower mode. Activate all backups you control.
Like Rock Lee.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess we haven't talked about the card, but
Yeah.
but it is what it is. What did we give it?
We gave it just the 1+1. Honestly.
Yeah.
It's
It
not
has
really.
synergies,
Mm.
but
It has synergies like with them, like Balthier and stuff. But
And that deck
Actually,
we're talking about,
mm.
Morgan's deck, he plays lots of backups that can
Yeah.
activate other backups
Yeah.
at that time.
so what's the next card, Chris?
The next card is Hope. It's a 4-drop EX bursting Supreme Advisor. It's a forward.
I didn't realize
yeah. There's an advisor elsewhere in the set, isn't there?
Ton Betty is.
Yes,
a
Ton Betty's advisor.
So
Reports to
Hope
Hope.
Hope is better at advising.
Yes.
Yes.
So Hope, For all 4 CP, you get an entire 5,000 power. And the EX Burst is when Hope enters the field, you may search for one card named Alexander and add it to your hand. And he has Dull, choose one forward, activated. So it can no longer be tightened by that backup.
Hope can be.
Yes,
Okay,
yes.
yeah. We had like a whole podcast talking about
Yeah.
how
I'm hoping most of his interactions.
So just like the rundown, like the Alexander's very flexible.
Yes.
Oh yeah,
like what you can get.
yeah, it combos
So-
a lot with a lot of lightning cards like Amon.
Yeah.
Every cheap
Ramza.
dull ability.
Yeah,
Yeah.
every cheap dull ability. And you don't. It's really awkward to get rid of, like outside of fire, because like it's.
It only really costs 2, is what you're
Yeah,
saying. Right?
yeah.
But it costs 4 for the purposes of cards like Zalora and like Zalbag.
Yep.
Can kill this.
That's
Yep.
right. Yeah.
And
Okay.
also, it as we discussed on the podcast, it has amazing Nora synergy in that you get a package sort of
Yeah,
like
yeah,
Nora
yeah.
of
Both
Alexander.
package, Yeah.
Just regards to Zellor, I mean, he's especially good in Zellor because he'll save your 3-drop or your 5-drop or your 2-drop and then not get killed
No,
by
no,
Zellor.
they'll try to save this.
Sorry, Chris.
Yes,
Yeah.
Chris, we know your ice
But-
plays are
But
unstoppable.
the thing is, like, it doesn't actually cost resources to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's really good. Like, I can't just like, haha, I'll force them to use hope.
Ah, what a gigantic investment of
Yeah.
dulling a forward.
Yeah.
Now
So-
this was I was actually hoping lots that mono wind will be a thing, and this was the first card that was spoiled like in wind that I was like yes, this can be a thing, you know.
This is a very strong enabler for
Yeah.
other cards.
Yep, very strong. So what did we give it?
We gave it a 3+2 on
Yeah.
its own, without any synergies and dull effects. I think it's not too strong. It's obviously still strong enough to be considered, but the real power in this card comes from its synergistic effects with repeatable dull effects.
That's right. Yeah. So what's the next card,
The
Kevin?
next card is Moogle. It is a full-cost Moogle called Moogle. It reads, when Moogle enters the field, draw 1 card. When Moogle is put from the field into the break zone, draw 1 card. So it's like
6,000 power.
Yes, that's 6,000 power. It's like a big 3-cost Viking.
I think that this is the card that mono wind needs.
Yeah, it's all right. It's
alright.
We were just saying Hope was a 2-drop 5k, right?
yeah.
This is a
This is
zero.
a 2-drop 6k.
This, yeah, like it, just like
Then you
ignoring the break power, right?
Yeah.
It's a
Yeah.
2-drop 6k, which is already good, and you still don't want to kill it because
Yeah.
it's
Yeah, you definitely don't want to kill it because then they draw another card.
yeah, and you don't want to bounce it
Mm.
because then they like
They
Well,
still
this
draw a
is
card.
like,
Yeah.
Oh no, they want to draw a card because it says enters the break zone.
No,
no, if they
play
bounce
again.
it, then they
Ah,
play it
okay.
again.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
yeah. And it costs 4, so it gets Ranzala.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Like, but in order for this to be value for your opponent, they have to kill it for free. But 6k is starting to get hard to kill for free.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I mean, there's not much more.
like,
to
once this
say.
is a 7k with Maria,
Yeah.
This is.
this is insane at that
Mhm.
point, right?
It just enables other types of plays, I guess.
Even though the CP, just purely CP wise, it's no better. It's worse than Zidane, cards like Zidane. But for
You mean
wind,
the lights?
the light
yeah.
Zidane, yeah. But for decks like Mono Wind, which will just activate backups and generate resources that way, the limiting factor generally becomes cards in hands.
That's right. Yeah.
So the fact that it's split like this, that it gains you the cards, which you can basically translate your backup CP into cards in hand, which you can then play for essentially free most of the time.
And
And
also,
that's where the value in this card will be.
Is there a way to cheaply break him in Mono Wind?
No,
I don't think so. Yeah.
no, I don't think so.
it also has really great synergy
You
with
can just
if you're trying to make a combo deck. If you're just trying to dig to a piece,
Yeah.
if that's possible, this card digs you a whole turn faster
Mm.
into what you're trying to get.
Yeah.
So
And those, I know we've brought them up a bunch of times already. Those Shempazai decks might, even though he's a big guy, like
Yeah.
a higher cost, he draws you so much closer.
Yeah,
to
and then
your-
you can
your
maybe
combo.
you have more
Maybe.
one cost to play the
you could
next
just play
turn.
Terra and just fight. If you're trying to
Yeah,
dig for
yeah,
Shemzai,
yeah.
you could just find Shemzai.
yeah.
Oh, but he also gives you more things.
He
that
also
can
gives you
play.
one cost forwards to play for the
But
next
then,
turn. for
like,
free.
if you play Terra, you can play Zemus, and you probably would play Zemus in that deck. So
Yeah.
so this Moogle.
Okay.
This
Very
is this is the only other card in Wind that draws your card other than Pain, and Pain comes with a condition.
Alexander draws you
Alexander.
cards.
Yeah. So what did we give him?
We gave it a 3. I think it's fair to give it a +1 though, and maybe those mono index.
Yeah, okay.
Yep.
The other Viking is gonna be sad.
The only thing is, the only thing that's gonna stop it being played, I think, is just like the
Not
deck
mono wind
space.
being good. Yeah.
Like you want to fill those 3 slots with the actual things you're trying to draw. Probably.
Yeah.
Just like I remember I brought up the Viking. I mean, the difference I think between these two is water has lots of ways of generating more cards or
And
digging
also,
deeper.
A Viking leaves the field,
Yeah.
which is a different and upside.
And the power difference.
Alright. So next card.
It's an archer. It's a standard unit backup. It reads, Wind, dull, put archer to the break zone, choose 1 forward, opponent controls. During this turn, the next damage it deals to a forward becomes 0 instead. So, that's fairly unique.
Yeah, it's quite.
I would say like it's a pretty like strong effect when you really need it, but like, what backup space are you sacrificing for this? That's the question.
It's just that
Well, you don't have to sacrifice backup space. It's
Because
more deck
it's,
space.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Deck space, yeah.
I think if you're afraid of your forwards, like dying through combat, maybe, or if you're afraid of those fire forwards that come in and burn your things.
Or if
This
you're
can-
afraid of clouds being played.
Yeah, this can shut down the Alcid combo.
Yep.
Mhm.
Robans, Clouds, Alcid, Tifa S's, Xandies.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
and
the only problem with that is just like it's not efficient enough. Like,
no, I mean,
it's-
I think this a big use for this card will be against AOE abilities.
Yeah.
Because Wind with lots of small forwards is particularly vulnerable to AOE abilities, and since this targets an opponent's forward, and if that AOEs, it'll be just 1 instance of damage, so it'll negate all of that, which will probably save your entire board from
Yeah.
being destroyed.
Yeah,
So
that-
that's what I like about this card. It's kind of like the opposite of some of the water cards, like make your forwards take no damage, and Wind is getting like the other side of that, which makes your opponent's forwards useless.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
You can also use it to save your rogue in ice
Yeah.
and still get rogue's effect.
Yeah. That's logical.
This could be seen as like an AOE hate card.
I think that's
Yeah.
probably its best use.
It can also be used like if your
In combat.
opponent combat tricks you out of a situation.
Yeah.
I'm thinking especially relevant in terms of like a party. They remove the other half of your party.
Yeah.
It's like, you can still save the other thing if
Mm.
that's worth losing the backup for. So it gives you a nice response to tricks.
It just shuts them down pretty much.
Yeah, and it's also very easy to break. All you need is them to have a forward.
Yeah, what's the rating, Kevin?
So we gave it a 2+0. There are probably better backups you want to play, and maybe the AOE hate isn't going to be as necessary.
Yeah, fair enough. The next card is a 2-cost backup, Rhea O Senna.
Finally, we get here.
So card name Arun Senna and card name Canny Senna. You control cannot be chosen by your opponent's abilities. A point that the difference here is that they can still be summoned away, so they can still be Odin and such.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But-
abilities is generally the better protection
Yeah,
in this game.
especially since we just got a ton of monsters, and all monsters are abilities.
That's right. Yeah. But like I just realized that you can still Hecatonk here, Arun Senna.
Yeah.
Mhm.
If you
can't-
wanted to.
And then you play it and find another thing.
I'm not saying it's a good play. I'm just saying if
Yeah.
you can.
Yeah, so I mean, it's obviously only useful as part of this little package that's come
Yeah.
together.
Yeah.
Like, it's not a good backup.
No.
It's like it costs 2,
Okay.
and then
It
like
just does something.
Playing it
has
is a
this
cost.
field thing.
Yeah.
Yep. So I've not much more to say. I think
No,
about
it's
it.
just,
So
yeah, just
what's-
it's a generic 3 for just fitting
Yep.
into the thing.
Yep.
It's fitting into that combo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mostly gets carried by the others.
Our last card is a 3-cost forward named Ritz. She is a job fencer and she has 7,000 power. She reads, characters you control cannot be returned to their owner's hand by your opponent's summons or abilities. If you control card name Shara, Ritz gains plus 2,000 power.
Yeah. So She'll become a 3-drop 9k
Ooh.
with
Yeah.
Yep.
Shower.
Yeah, but Shower's weak, like 3
Shower's
kills.
very
but
easy to play.
Do you really want to kill a Shower? Because they can just play another one. I think that's the checkmate you force your opponent into.
And if you're killing the Shara and not the Ritz,
Yeah, usually killing like when you're killing Shower as a
Yeah.
trick, you're killing
Yeah,
Ritz at the
yeah,
same time.
generally.
But the thing, so I mean that's just the last half, right? I think the main part of Ritz, characters you control cannot be returned to their owner's hand by your opponent's summon's abilities.
Huge.
Yeah, so that's a really nice answer to some particularly powerful element at the moment.
Yeah.
And
Is
also,
it lightning?
No,
It's
quite an aqueous element, I guess.
yeah. So we say that for hate cards we just give them a 3 because they're hate cards, but there's something different about Ritz in that if you play Ritz in your deck, you know that you've shored up a weakness for your huge CP guys. Like the guys that you were gonna play, and it's like, oh, but they could get Leviathan or Sildred or
You're a bit nervous
Valorford or
and
whatever.
things, right?
Yes,
Yeah,
yes, things
like-
like those.
You can cross that off your list of things to worry about.
Mm.
And so just for that deck building, because of that, it's like actively like
Helps your
helps your deck building process. So I think it's worth a bit more than just a generic hate.
Mm.
Also, especially because of how prevalent
Mm.
bouncing is.
Yeah,
compared
it's
to
a very
something-
strong hate card.
Yeah, like the Emperor's technically a hate
Mm.
card. We rate it more than 3
Yeah,
because
yeah.
it just hits so much.
Yeah.
Right?
and he's available to every deck.
Mm.
Yeah. So so that's my piece on Ritz.
Mhm.
Does anybody else have anything extra to add?
No, I love Ritz because that just like prevents all those like 5 cost and 6 cost guys that I can just.
I have
Yeah.
lost so many games to on the 6th damage there was a Leviathan.
No problem, Jared.
Ah.
Yes. I'm not going to like playing against this card. Obviously.
No, I'm Resident Water player.
Mm.
So what was our score?
Our score was 3+1.
Yeah, fair enough.
Awesome.
Yeah, because it's just something you consider, and then that +1, as we said.
Yeah.
All
mentioned
those
why
big
we
decks.
actually gave this hate card a synergy.
Yeah.
Well,
It's not because of the shower.
no.
no.
It's a different bonus though.
Yeah.
So that wraps us up for Wind.
Yeah. So guys, tell us what you think about these about our review.
Do
I
you
guess.
think our roos are good, or do you think they're full of hot air?
Ha ha ha.
Yeah, you have to see the Earth one if you wanted to get that joke, I guess.
Or our podcast for episode 3.
But yeah, so come back next time for our next review, the Ice.
Yes. Looking forward to that one.
Finally.
Yeah.
Number 1 Potato Boss out.